Good morning, all of you. So, in the series of Indian economy, GS paper, we will continue our lecture about the national income. So, earlier we have discussed about the GDP and GDP, factor cost, market price, current prices, and constant prices, and different things in a very elaborate manner. So, now we will discuss about the national income. What is the national income? It is the total factor income. It is the total factor income earned by all the normal residents and nationals of a country during a financial year. What is the national income? It is the total factor income earned by all the normal residents and nationals of a country during a financial year. So, what is the GDP? What is the national income? National income means NNP at factor cost. At NNP at factor cost. In other words, we can say what is the national income? NNP at factor cost. In many exams, this question was also asked earlier. NNP at factor cost is the indication of the national income. So, national income, whenever we are measuring, estimating the total factor income, it is the total factor income. So, here we are estimating at the factor cost. It's the total factor income. So, here we are estimating at the factor cost. And one thing, by all the normal residents and national. Normal resident means the persons who's having long-term economic interest of the country, from the country or with the country, whether he is living inside the country or living abroad. He's doing business, his firm or any businesses that are related with the country or doing the businesses abroad, but he having the long-term economic interest from the respective country. So, under the national income, it will be estimated, it will be measured. So, of nationals, so it is the means of normal resident of a country during a financial year. During the financial year, India's financial year is started from 1st April and ended up to the 31st March of the upcoming year. Another things that we are also want to illustrate about the national income. So, we are always measuring the national income at the factor cost. Therefore, we are elaborating here and mentioned here the factor income. Okay, factor cost income. Next, the normal resident, yani ki the Indian persons or the Indian firms or Indian businesses, whether they are earning incomes inside the India or abroad. So, but he having the long-term economic interest from the India, he might be the citizen or not. It is not necessary he will be the citizen, but he must be the part of India in terms of the economic interest. So, all the income of such individuals, such household, such firms, such businesses will be considered or will be included in the national income. Next, we are coming here. One illustration I mentioned here about the national income. Earlier in the last lectures, there are two types of the inputs. Input means the goods and services. Input means the raw materials as well as the factor of cost, the factor of productions like the rent, labor, and like that. So, these are the inputs. These required for the production, for the outputs. These required for the production, for the outputs. So, inputs will be the two types: factor inputs, non-factor inputs. Factor inputs is called the factor cost is called the primary inputs, and non-factor inputs is called the secondary. Next point we are mentioned here, there are factor incomes. What is the factor cost? Factor cost or factor incomes. Just like the for establishment of the any industry, for starting any enterprises, we needed some basic things like land, labor, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. Who started the business? Entrepreneurs who started and who want to bear the risk, bear the risk, that is entrepreneur. And land, for starting any business, any enterprise, we needed these factors for the production of the goods and services. So from this we generating lands, this generating rent. From labor we generating wages. From labor we generating wages. And capital we interest. Capital means here, we require the capital goods for the production of anything. So the capital goods means machinery, durable things that used for the further production, for the assisting of the further production, for the valuation, for the increasing the value of any goods and services. So that is called the capital goods. Okay, capital goods, intellectual goods, capital goods, intellectual capital, financial capital. So there are different terms for the capital. Capitals can be classified, grouped into different manner. Like the capital, intellectual capital. Intellectual capital means just like the patent right, that is intellectual capital. And financial capital means money and funds. Financial capital means money and funds. And fiscal capital means machinery. Fiscal capital means machinery. So here we are only considering the fiscal capital. Fiscal capital means machinery that is used for the further production of the goods and services. That is the fiscal capital. Okay, and like the machinery, like the buildings and other things. So it generate the interest. Another thing, the entrepreneur. Entrepreneur means who started any business, who initiate the enterprise, who take the risk to initiate the business. So that is the entrepreneur. So he will earn what? Profit. He will earn the profit. So these are the factor cost from the producer's perspective. These are the factor costs from the producer's perspective. From the business perspective, these are the factor cost, and these are transferred to the household, to the individuals. So from the individual perspective, from the household perspective, these are the earned amount. So these are called the factor income. From the individual, from the household perspective, these are earned amount, earned income. So these are called the factor income. While from the businesses, from the firms point of view, these are the factor cost. So in national income, we are only measuring the factor incomes. Factor income means these things. We are measuring. Another, it is always estimated in net value. Net value means always we subtracting the depreciation. My means, suppose that a person purchased a machinery, approximate 100 lakh and 100 lakh. So my means here output is 100 lakh, and this is the value. My means depreciation. 100 value. A person purchased any machinery of 100 lakh, and this is the value of the 70,000, and this is the value of 30,000. So this is the depreciation amount, when wear and tear that used. So we always reduce this wear and tear, the diminishing the capacity and capability of any machinery. So these are the depreciation. So we always reducing the depreciation, so we get the net amounts. And another things that we are mentioned here, suppose that it is the best example for measuring any national income, non-factor inputs. Non-factor inputs means raw materials, transfer payment, and one-sided, any money transfer from one person, one place to another without any corresponding production, without any corresponding production. So it is known as the transfer payment. It will come under the non-factor inputs, that is 5 rupees. Factor cost या factor inputs cost it is 15. Depreciation is 1. Net indirect taxes is 4. These values will be the 25. Will be the 25. We are only including this particular value whenever we are measuring the national income, because it is the factor cost that mentioned I here. It is the factor cost. We are excluding the depreciation. We are excluding the depreciation. So here national income, any income is always net. Income is always net, and it will be measured at factor income, at the factor cost. Next points we also discuss here. National income methods, it is estimated. One thing how we can reach at this value. If any person want to reach at this value, so how he can reach? So one thing say, suppose that this is the GDP. This is the GDP. GDP at market price. Suppose that this is the GDP at market price. GDP at market price. So GDP at market price. GDP at market price plus net indirect taxes plus GDP at factor cost plus net indirect taxes. Okay, one value. Another value, whenever we are having GDP at factor cost, so we find GDP at market price, and minus indirect taxes, plus subsidies. One value we are obtaining here. Suppose that here we are NDP at factor cost. So it will be NDP at market price minus indirect taxes, plus subsidies. So here we reducing depreciation. Here also we subtracting depreciation. Next point, we are assuming GNP at factor cost. So it will be GDP at factor cost plus a net foreign income from abroad. Net foreign income from abroad, this is the GNP at factor cost. Net foreign income from the abroad, we get the GNP. Whenever we are NNP at factor cost, GNP at factor cost plus net factor income from abroad. Here we also again reducing depreciation. 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 Whenever we are reducing depreciation from GNP, we are getting net national product. And here in GDP, we also reduce subtracting depreciation. We get GDP. We get GDP. We get NDP. Net domestic product at factor cost. When we subtracting depreciation, what we getting? Net domestic product at factor cost. Next one is the net factor income from abroad. So this value NNP at factor cost. NNP at factor cost is equal national income. Another measure. NNP यानी net national product at factor cost is equal national income. And other things, net national product at factor cost equal national income. It will be two types, at current prices and constant prices. At current prices, at constant prices. Constant prices. Current prices means nominal GDP, nominal value, nominal. And constant prices means real. Constant prices means real. So it will be the nominal national income. National income. And it will be the real national income. Next point. So NNP at factor cost at constant prices will be the actual national income of any country. Next point, we are coming here, domestic income. So domestic income, where we are measuring domestic income. It was the national income. Now we are coming at the domestic income. It will be also domestic income is domestic income, and it will be also net domestic product at factor cost. Domestic income will be equal to net domestic product at factor cost. How we obtain the net domestic product at factor cost? Suppose that GNP, suppose that GDP at, suppose that net factor income, net domestic product at factor cost equal GDP at factor cost minus depreciation. So net domestic product at factor cost equal ग्रॉस डोमेस्टिक प्रोडक्ट एट फैक्टर कॉस्ट माइनस डिप्रिसिएशन, यानी ग्रॉस से जब डिप्रिसिएशन को माइनस कर देंगे तो हम पहुंच जाएंगे नेट पे, और यही नेट डोमेस्टिक प्रोडक्ट एट फैक्टर कॉस्ट इज इक्वल टू डोमेस्टिक इनकम, It will be also classified into two different ways. One is the at current prices, and next one is the at constant prices. At constant prices. At current prices, we can say the nominal domestic income. And it will be called as the real domestic income. So what is the domestic income? It is the total total income. It is the total factor income earned in the domestic territory of a country. What is the domestic income? It is the total factor income. Factor income. It is the total, final factor income earned, generated, earned in the domestic territory of a country during a financial year. So it will known as the domestic income. Another things we are coming here, circular flow of income and output. So circular flow on income and output. In general, we can classify economic sector. Economic sector. Economic sectors. We are in general parlance saying it is the private sector, it is the public sector. So on the basis of the economic activities, income, expenditures, we classify a grouped into different sectors. Like one is the household sectors, household sectors. Another we can classify as a private sector, private sectors. Next we can classify government sector, government sectors. Next we classify the external sector, external sectors. Okay. Economic sector we can just classify into 4 groups, 4 subclasses: household sectors, private sector, government sector, and external sector. Household sector, any individual, any persons who are the resident of a country and having economic interest, he will come under the household. Household means the members who's having a sharing the common kitchen. In economic, socio-economic terms, it is known as the household. So household means they are the provider of the input. They are providing the input. What? They are providing the land. They are providing which inputs? Land, labor, land, labor, and capital, and entrepreneurship, and entrepreneur. So they are providing the services, and these services and these goods and commodities, those provided by the household, to whom they are providing these services? To the firms, businesses. Here we are talking businesses means private sector. Businesses means private sector, firms. The same persons may be the part of that and may be the part of that. But in economic terms, business terms, we are not considering the same person in both category. Just like Dhirubhai Ambani. He is a part of a household. Dhirubhai Ambani. Or any businessman, he is a part of a household. He started any business. So he purchased the land from his fellows, his neighbors, or any persons. He also hired the laborers from the household. He started any business, any enterprise. But Reliance Industries Limited, these are the firms and businesses. So here little bit differences. The same person we are knowing is this. No. In economic terms, both are different. It is the legal separate entity. It is the legal separate entity, and it is the individual who is associated with a household. So it is also the consumer, but whenever starting the enterprise, so he is getting the profits. He investing the money for starting any business, so he is getting the interest. If any person from the household doing their jobs, works, so he earning the wages and salaries. Any person giving his lands as a lease to the factory, so he is earning the rents. And these are the separate entities. So Reliance Industry as well as Dhiru Ambani, he is a part of the household, it is the part of businesses and firms. Another things, government sectors. Government sector means just like the public sector. All the government's activities not only associated with the politics, with the governance and public administration. There are several works that government simultaneously working in a country, just like the health, education, construction of the roads. So public undertaking companies, so they are just like iron steel companies, so they are also involving in purchasing the goods, expenditures, incomes and different things. So they are also the parts of the economic activities of a country. So this is the one separate sectors, that is the government sector. So public sectors, public government companies will come under the government sector. External sector means individual or the firms, those are doing the businesses inside the India. So these are the external sectors. Investors from abroad, they are doing their businesses inside the India. So these are the external sectors. Our import and export are associated from the external sectors. Now we are coming to the circular flow of economy. So all of these we are only considering household and private sector. My means businesses and firms. For easiness, for simplicity, how goods and services, income and expenditure flow and circulate in an economy. So for easy work, we are selecting only two things and remaining left aside, not considering. So we are coming here, circular flow of income and outputs. One thing say that we have no household and firms and business. Here we are putting household. Household, and here we are putting here business or firms. Business and firms. Firms. Business and firms. So factors, just like land, labor, capital and entrepreneur. And entrepreneur. Land, labor, capital and entrepreneurs. These are provided by the household to the businesses, to the firms. In correspondence, in return, the businesses and firms are also providing factor income to household. So in return, businesses and firms are providing to the household factor income. Factor cost, we can say. Factors income. Factor means land, labor, capital and entrepreneurship are provided by the household to the business and the firms in the one way. In return, at that place businesses and firms are providing to the household factor income. At the place of the land, they are providing the rent. For the labor, they are providing the wages. For capital, they are providing the interest. For entrepreneurship, they are providing the profits. Okay. So these inputs are used by the firms to produce any goods and any services. And in retaliation, quid pro quo, the business are returning the same things as a factor income to the household. Next point. These are the used by the company, by the business to produce goods and services. So goods and services, these are the used, these capitals, labor, land, entrepreneurs, yani these factors are used by the businesses to produce the goods and services. When they produce these goods and services, they try to sell these services to the household. So they will sell these services, these goods and services to the household. These factors are used by the enterprise to produce the goods and services. Later, these goods and services are sold by the firms, by the businesses to the household. In return, household will pay for these goods and services. So known as the expenditure on the goods and services. In return, household will pay the business and firms. What they will pay? The expenditure. We can say expenditure on goods and services. Expenditure on goods and services. So first of all, my means A. What is A? The factor in land, labor, capital provided by the household to the businesses and the firms. Okay. In return, businesses and firms are providing the rent, wages, interest and profits to the household. Next point. These factors are used by the firms, by the businesses to produce goods and services. These goods and services shifted or transferred or sold to the household. So these goods and services that produced by the businesses and firms later shifted, transferred or sold to the household. In return, household are paying these goods to the firms. Household are paying for these goods and services to the businesses and firms. So one thing we have to know, the one physical things that is transfer between these, that is known as the real flow. It is known as the real flow. What is the real flow? The physical items that transfer in this circulation. Land, labor, capital, entrepreneurs. These are the physical things. These are transfer. Goods and services from business and firms are transferred to the household. This is the real flow, because these are the tangible and intangible, but they are the having the utility and usable things. Another things that is the money flow. These rents, wages, interest and profit, these are valued in terms of the money, because these are the charges over factor cost, over the factors, and these are the actually the money value transferred to the household. So this is the money flow. And other things, household, whenever they purchasing these goods and services, they are expending amount, expending the money on these and goods and services. So this will be the money flow. This line will also demarcate the money flow, and both the line are as the real flow. So we have to write about something. It is indicate the continuous flow of goods and services. One thing we have to note here, it is the continuous flow of goods, of money, goods and services between different sector of economy. So circular flow of income and output means it is the continuous flow of money, goods and services between different sector of an economy. It is the continuous flow of goods and services and money. It is the continuous flow of money, goods and services between the different sector of economy. Here for simplicity, we only just considered two sectors, business and household. The remaining two sector I left out, not considered for the simplicity. Okay. In simple two sector economy model, illustrate the flow between household and business. In this model, household and businesses, goods and money, goods and services are transferred among these. One times money is transferred to the household, later the same money is also transferred to the firms. This is the circular flow. One time these goods and services are transferred to the businesses, later further processed these goods and utilized by the household and transferred to the household from the firms and businesses. This is the circular flow of economy, circular flow of incomes. So other side we can say it is the supply side, it is the demand side. Okay, because these are the demanded by the household and these are the supply sides. Next points we are coming here. Next topics we will discuss, that is the measurement of national income. Next topic we will discuss here, measurement of national income. Measurement of national income. So there are three methods that utilized to measure the national income. There are three methods that used to measure the national income. One is the one is the income method, another is the production method, next one is the expenditure method. Income method, and next one is production method, next one is expenditure method. Expenditure methods. So in other word we can say national income. From income we can generate it in other terms, that is the national income. National income equal national product. Next one is national expenditure. National expenditure. So first of all we will discuss national income, means income method. Income method under income methods we are estimating the national income by submission of by adding of all the factor incomes. Under income methods, we are adding all the factor incomes. Here we are adding, yeah, we are submitting all factor of production, all factors of production. So under income methods, we are adding up all the factor of productions that come under the income method. National income is estimated by adding up incomes of all the factor of production. So we can say in simple terms, national income is estimated by adding up all the factor of production, all the factors of production, factor of production. What is the income methods? In estimating the national income under the income methods, we are submitting all the factor of productions. That is known as the income methods. Next point. So this method is estimated national income from the perspective of factor income, from the perspective of factor income. This method is estimating the national income from the perspective of factor income, from the perspective of factor income. What is this method is? This method is used from the perspective of factor income. Factor income. What are the factor incomes? Now we are discussing here. Factor income is just like the rent. Factor income is rent and royalties, wages, salaries, interest, profit, etc. So factor incomes, we are here. Factor incomes, just like factor incomes. Rent, number one is rent and royalties. Rent and royalties. One thing. Next one is wages and salaries. Wages and salaries. Wages and salaries. Interest, profit, mixed income. Interest, profit, and common income, and mixed income, the common income of self-employed. Mixed income, mixed income of self-employed. Mixed income of self-employed. Mixed income of self-employed. Mixed income is household shop, household businesses, and any works. This is like the mixed income. So these are the factor incomes. Under the national income, under the income method, we are measuring and estimating these things. So according to the as per the factor income perspective, as per the factor income perspective. So these are the domestic income. When we are estimating or calculating these things, so we reached at the domestic income. We reached at the domestic income. These are the domestic income. These are the domestic income. Next point. The sum of these factor income provide us the measure of domestic product at factor cost. The sum of these domestic income, the sum of these domestic income is provide us, in other words, you can say the sum of these factor incomes, these factors income provide us value of GDP at factor cost. GDP at factor cost. Why factor cost? Because these are the factor incomes. So these are the domestic. Inside the country, we are measuring this value. But for national income, we have to reach at the national product. National product. This is the domestic. Whenever we are submitting, or we are adding net factor income from abroad, then we will reach at the GNP, NNP. So we are reaching here at the raw data, not a complete at the milestones. So it also includes net factor income from abroad to arrive at GNI. So we are when we are calculating the national income as per the income methods, we are reaching GDP at factor income, and from GDP factor income we have to add net factor income from abroad in GDP at factor cost. So for reaching GNP at factor cost, GDP at factor cost plus net factor income from abroad. So when we align net factor income from abroad to the GDP at factor cost, then we will reach at the GNP at factor cost. After submitting these value, we only reaching at the GDP at factor cost. But this is the not national income, it is the domestic income. We talk about the domestic. We have to reach at the GNP. After subtracting here depreciation, we will reach at NNP at factor cost. We will reach at factor cost. Next, production method. Next will be production method. In other words, it is also known as the value addition methods. So it is the second method, and in next lecture we will continue these topics. And now I am closing here, and yes, one announcement is also made by the administration. All the students are requested to join our platform, Gyan Sagar Civil Academy, that is providing videos and the PDF material to all the aspirants. Okay, bye. All the best.